Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I think you can tell what this video today is going to be about, but if you don't and you're new to the channel, then hi, my name's Ash. I'm currently renovating my Victorian house in London, and this is the guest bedroom, which I shall be revealing to you today. It's the last bedroom in the house that needed to be decorated, and as you can tell from the background probably, you'll notice that I've gone a bit bold. And I thought it'd be a really interesting process to film the whole thing and talk you guys through it. So if you like these sorts of videos, then please do hit the subscribe button, as there's plenty of more transformations to come. And without further ado, let's get started with the guest bedroom. If we travel back in time 3 years ago, this is what the guest bedroom used to look like. It was a really bland and cold room, and all of those pieces of wood on the floor are covering the non-existent floorboards, so this room was in a really bad state. The windows were old and dated, letting a draft in, and the room just had no character whatsoever. The goal for this room was to make it as cozy as possible. We started by replacing all of the broken floorboards, adding carpet, and then removing the old broken windows that provided no insulation. I documented the whole process of installing wooden sash windows, and I'll leave the video linked below. These windows are actually double glazed, so not only do they look beautiful and are in keeping with the time period of the house, but they actually serve a purpose. This is what the guest bedroom has looked like for the time that we have lived in the house. I opted for a sisal carpet, we added radiators, light switches, door furniture, all of the usual things you do in a house renovation, but I never really considered this space as a design space because in all honesty, it wasn't. Day to day, we use this room as an office, but I really wanted it to be a relaxing room for when guests come to stay. So step one was to add some colour into the room. I decided to go for a colour from Farrow Ball called Brinjal, and the finish I chose for this is dead flat. This finish adds so much depth to the colour, it makes it look more muddy. I can't really describe it, but if you haven't tested out a dead flat finish yet, I highly recommend you do so. As I was painting the door and the panelling, it was coming across very red, and one thing I didn't do in this room for some reason was test the paint on the walls or in the room in situ before I ordered the paint. So top tip for everyone, might be a really obvious one, but always test the paint in the room just to make sure the right tones of the colour are coming through. At this point, I was having second thoughts because it was meant to be more of an aubergine colour, but it was coming across very red. But I was adamant in trusting the process, so I carried on painting the panelling and then waited for the next day to make my decision. Day two. So you can see a sneak peek of the corner. I only did one coat on the panelling yesterday, so I'm going to do the second coat, but I decided to not paint it Brinjal. Controversial, but when I was putting it on, it looked very red, and I just don't know if that was the vibe I was going for in the bedroom. For some reason in this room, it's coming across really red and not as burgundy plum-like. So change of plans. Sulky room pink is now going to go on the panelling, ceiling, and all the woodwork. I am a bit fearful that it's going to look quite childish. I wanted this room to feel quite masculine. Whether I can play that up with the pieces in this room, I'm not too sure, but I need to get back to the company that we're getting the bed from, because I'm choosing fabrics for the bed, but the fabric that I wanted is out of stock, which is really annoying because it's a really beautiful fabric, but they are the most incredible company and they literally go above and beyond for you. So they've sent me the whole list of fabrics there, like they have access to, and I need to go through and pick one of the fabrics for the bed. I don't know if I've mentioned where the bed's coming from. It's coming from a company called Button and Sprung. They're the same place where we got our bed from in our main bedroom, which is, it's like a super king sized, the bed's called a lupin bed. It's just a style, it's got sort of like winged arms, I guess you could say. A really classic timeless bed, and I've loved it ever since we've had it. So I thought, why not get the exact same bed, smaller size, but in a different shade, and maybe a different fabric. So today I'm going to finish off the painting on the panelling, the woodwork, and the ceiling. I want to get at least a first coat on. I do think it's only going to take 2 coats for this because it's a very good coverage Farrow Ball product. The lighting in this room is really, really bad, but this is the difference between the 2 colours. This is the door with 1 coat as well. For some reason, I really didn't like how this was looking. When the wallpaper would go on, it would look like a children's playroom, and this really wasn't the vibe I was going for. I did like the colour on the ceiling, and this was after the second coat, so I decided to keep the ceiling colour the same, but the panelling I really wanted to change back to brinjal, as that's the colour that I had in my mind. So fast forward, and this is with the first coat of brinjal. The sulking room pink acted as a really good primer for the brinjal, hence why it looks so good after one coat, but I decided to take it across all of the woodwork just how I pictured. A few weeks then go by, and the next thing to arrive is the bed from Button & Sprung. Second time I've used them, and I couldn't recommend them more highly, but I'll leave the bed linked below. So all of the woodwork has had all of the paint, all the ceilings, woodwork again. At this point, with the paint on the panelling and the woodwork and the bed in its place, the room was really starting to feel like it was coming together. But the next step on the to-do list was to get the room wallpapered. So, just showered. It's currently, I think, 7 o'clock in the morning. Today, the room is going to be wallpapered. So, say goodbye to these yellow walls. But just to remind you guys, this is what the wallpaper is going to look like. This wallpaper, which has like a light blue, yeah, like a light blue and off-white colour combination. And that's going to be on every single wall, obviously around the curtain. The curtains need to be changed, so we're going to have to find some new curtains. But yeah, every single wall is going to be covered with the wallpaper. You can kind of see the bed through the sheet, but I've been trying to hide it because it won't look right until everything in this room is completed. But yeah, really excited. I'm gonna go make some coffees, and then I think the wallpapering guys are gonna turn up. And this is what the room looks like now it's been wallpapered. I really fell in love with this wallpaper, and if you guys know anything about Chateau de Pernon, you'll know that this wallpaper was actually uncovered in the linen press, and I just love the fact that this is now in my guest bedroom. Now, after all the hard work has been done, we have finally got to the point which I enjoy the most, which is decorating. So as you can see, the room is wallpapered in, I believe it's pronounced Achard by Farrow Ball. It's in a colour that's blue and like an off-white colour. It's a really beautiful paper that we decided to go for on the walls. We've then opted for a really beautiful bed from one of my favourite bed companies called Button & Sprung. We actually have the exact same bed in a super king size in our bedroom, and I actually wanted to get the exact same bed for this spare bedroom because I thought it's just a lovely bed. It's a really classic shape. We've gone for a really light ivory type of linen. It's a really bright white fabric. I wanted that to sort of break up the dark colour on the panelling and the walls, and I think it looks really beautiful. Obviously it's not styled, so it doesn't look as good as it will do, but it's just such a beautiful quality of bed, and I really recommend you check out Button & Sprung for their beds, their mattresses. We've had ours for nearly 3 years now, and it's had no problems. It's one of the comfiest night's sleep I've ever had. And it's one of those beds that when you go to a hotel, you long to come back for. It's that comfy. They're a really wonderful British company that make everything sustainably, and I think not a lot of people know about it. So that's one of my top tips for decorating a room, is invest in a really high quality bed. They're very affordable considering they're all sustainable and made in the UK. But definitely one of my favourite bed companies. I'm going to leave everything that I've got in this room linked below, but this bed specifically I will leave linked below. It's called the Lupin bed, and again, massive shout out to Button & Sprung. They're such a wonderful team to work with, and yeah, I'm so happy that we actually have this bed in the room. I think it looks amazing. But next, we're going to add some lighting. Lighting, as always with me, mostly comes from Pooky. Let me just show you really quickly which lighting I chose. If we rewind 3 years, nothing was planned properly because of like time constraints, and this was our first house. So silly me, silly Chad, we didn't actually plan for any wiring in bedside lamps. So there's wiring in terms of sockets, but there's no wiring in terms of wall lights. So as you all know, one of my favourite brands is Pooky. They offer an incredible selection of not only plug-in lights, wall lights, wired lights, but they actually offer rechargeable lights. And you would have seen them before in the bathroom that we have, and we have some wireless lamps that we move around the house and into the gardens. But I just think these are the most incredible things to add to your home if you're like me and you're rather unorganised, or if you're in a rented flat, or if you just don't have the opportunity to add in wired lights. These are the exact same thing. The quality is the exact same thing. I have opted for this wall light. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'm gonna add it as a text on the screen, and I will also link it below. But if you've never seen the Pooky lamps before, they basically come as they would for a wired fixture, except there's no wiring on the back. This one is just solid brass, and they actually come with what's called a Genesis bulb, which is basically a rechargeable bulb that you can take off the fixture, charge, and then put back on, and they last for around, I think it's 15 hours. So a really good charge time for a rechargeable light. But basically, the fixture you fix to the wall, and then you add the light bulbs on, and they're secured in by magnets, and then you select your shade of choice. I opted for a red silk, which I thought would look lovely in this room, and then that's it. They're that simple. And obviously when you need to recharge them, you just take off the lamp shade, take off the light bulb, plug it in with a USB, and then you have a light. So these are such a good option if you don't have wiring in your walls, like we don't. If you're renting, or if you just don't have the opportunity, like I said, to add wired lights to your room. So I will leave these links below. Again, really good quality. We have them in the bathroom, we have lamps that we take around the house, and they're just such an amazing option to add to a room. I did actually want to add them to the paneling, but because of the loop in bed, they have these wings, and I just feel like when you're in the bed, you're not going to see the lights. So I think we are actually going to have to add them to the wall. I'm just going to cut to me adding this to the wall really quickly because I'm sure you don't want to see that. Righty-ho, so we have just, well, when I say we, I have just put them into the wall. I just need to give everything a quick tidy, but this is the remote it comes with. It's a brass remote. You basically insert it when you get the light, it comes with a remote, and then it comes with a really lovely brass cover that you basically slip the remote into, pop it down on the back. There's a nice little engraving that says Pooky, and all you have to do is press the on button, and voila. We have light. Next, I'm going to hang some artwork behind the bed. I'm thinking, I have 3 of these, so I'm thinking maybe 3. I like odd numbers. Things in pairs usually don't look right. I know we have a pair of artwork downstairs in the lounge, I'm just thinking about actually now. But I'm thinking maybe, because obviously we're gonna have corners here as well, so I don't want it to go too low, but I think, can I ask my assistant to pass me another painting, please? Also, how do these hang? I might have to go to the There's 3, isn't it? Definitely 3. 3 is perfect, I think. I think 2 would look a bit odd. Or the other alternative is this one, yeah. No.
Don't think so. I think it's got to be the 3 we set.
Yeah,
again, they could be placeholders. Like we might find.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I've only got nails to do this, so I'm hoping that they're quite heavy pieces of art. I might have to do this temporarily, and then maybe do another fix at the time. But I think about there would be alright. there we have it. That is the guest bedroom reveal. I would love to know what you guys think. It's definitely a bit different to the rest of the house, but I'm kind of in love with it. I'm going to be completely honest, when I first saw the room wallpapered without any of the decoration, I did think, what have I done here? But as I decorated, I've actually really grown to love it. I don't know if it comes across on camera, but it's a really cozy room and I actually just want to sleep in here. But I haven't actually tested it out yet, so I need to test out to see if it's a comfy room to sleep in. But I would love to know your thoughts. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What's your favourite part? What don't you like? What would you have done differently? If I'm honest, there's one thing I would do differently, and it's the ceiling colour. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it's not looking how I want it to because we still don't have the cornice. So I'm going to give it a chance, and when we get the cornice, I'll paint it the same colour, see if I like it, and if not, I'll probably paint it a different colour. More so like the panelling colour, just to tie everything back in. It's the only thing that's looking a bit disconnected. So, bar one thing, I think I like it. But let me know what you think. Again, if you've got this far in the video, please do subscribe, it really helps out the channel, and there's a lot more transformations to come. I believe the next big transformation is going to be the kitchen, so stay tuned for that. I'm currently planning that, but I would love for you guys to follow along the journey, so please do hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you very soon in another video.